Hold it, Anna. Hello. I don't know. Okay. Fine, there is no problem. Oh. Right, let us check it out. Okay, we have passed 75 plus. Okay. Uh, okay, yeah, fine then. I'll give them 3 more minutes so that if at all anybody is still trying to join in, they can join up. Okay. um, okay, 2 more minutes, we'll start it. Okay, so okay, yeah, seems okay. It seems the connection is not of a problem. Everything looks good. So, shall we begin? Okay. All right. So, let us get back to the things. So, in the previous session, we had covered up some quantitative problems. We had covered your decision making switch, uh, your if else, uh, your ternary operator, and other operators, these kind of things. Now we'll get into a little bit of looping. Okay. Looping. So why do we need to do your looping? The answer is very simple. Not all problems can be solved by just using mm, your simple instructions, right? So for example, let us say that you are traveling. So the traveling is not just you get onto the bus and the next second itself you get down, right? So until a certain point, you'll have to be keep on doing certain things. That is, you'll have to keep on repeating it. For example, let us say bodybuilding. Okay, so bodybuilding requires you to keep on working out every day regularly. Only then you will be able to actually get into proper shape and everything, right? So it is not just one time, but it is multiple times. So there are many situations wherein, or many kind of real life problems which require a continuous repetition of certain things and until we solve the problem, or until we can come into solution. Or let us say that we are not dealing with one, but we are dealing with multiple set of data. So what do? Again, will require a regular back and forth. So that is when we'll use your looping. That is the idea of looping. Okay. Um, that said, let us get into the syntax of loops. Okay, so I believe you are all already aware of this, but still let me just since this is a brush up course, we'll be refresher course, we'll be refreshing it again. Okay, so while condition and statements to be repeated, or it is also referred to as the loop body. Why it is called as loop body? Because that is a part where your circle keeps on going, right? So loop is what? A circular thing. So when we say loop, it is the instructions which were going like a straight line are branching out. Okay, if you are decision making, that you might have two different alternative paths or multiple alternative paths, right? So that is how the shapes were. Now what is happening? We are going on a loop, that is, it is circular. Okay, it's not exactly circular, it is like starting point and ending point. Okay, I hope you get the things. So that is what is happening. So that is why it is also called as loop body. Okay, so this is the syntax for your while loop. Okay, next is do while loop. So do, and then this, and then oh, one second, I pasted it in the long do, and then loop body, and then while, and your condition, and your semicolon. Please observe here, this semicolon is syntactically required. So in the sense, here whatever we are doing, right? So here I am not writing a semicolon. Okay, so the reason for it is very simple. I don't think that that is the end of the instruction, right? Semicolon is what? It's like a full stop. When do you write a full stop? At the end of the sentence, right? But here we are not ending the sentence. Here we are continuing the instruction, right? So that is why we are not supposed to write a semicolon here. If you write, it is not going to cause a syntactical error, but it will have effect in your working. Okay, so you will have only runtime errors. Okay, not syntactical errors, more like a logical error rather than runtime error. It is more of a logical error than a runtime error per se. Okay, so this is your do while. Difference between while and do while is, in your while the condition is checked as and when it is coming into the loop, but in your do while, after the execution of the loop body, it will check the condition. So basically difference, if at all you want to remember, it is very simple one. I have already said this same example in the classes as well, but let me repeat again. So it is like, your while is like a theater, that is, you before even you go inside the cinema halls, you are going to show up, you have to show the tickets. Okay, so checking happens at the beginning itself. Okay, so once you have gone out of it, then only after showing the ticket again, then only you can come in, right? So at the entry point itself there is a check, whereas your do while is concerned, it is exit checked, that is, it's like a restaurant. As soon as you go in, the security guy is not going to ask you for a bill, right? You are going to go there, have your time, have your food, enjoy everything. While you are coming out, you will be expected to pay the bill, right, at the end of the loop body. Okay, so that is about your while and do while. Okay, next for your for. Okay, so there are three looping constructs, so while, do while, and for. So as far as your for is concerned, for initialization, Okay, for initialization semicolon, again you can write a space, you can avoid a space, it doesn't matter. Okay, so here there is no rules against writing a space. Why I am writing a space is because it looks clear, it is better looking, that's all. Okay, so initialization and your condition, that is condition for sustaining the loop. Please observe here, condition in all these places is to sustain the loop, not to exit the loop. Okay, so sustaining of the loop means what? For example, you write like, let us say that you are trying to print the tables, numerical tables. So while printing the those numerical tables, what you are supposed to do is, until 10 is there, you have to continue printing, right? So that is what is the condition, that is until it reaches 10, not the condition to exit the loop. Okay, so now coming back to this, next is the repeat parts. I'll say it as repeat, but you can use any other words as well. Some of them say initialization condition and sustain, initialization condition updation, initialization condition increment, decrement. So many people use different words for the same, but you can use any of them. So I call it as a repeat part because that is what is going to repeat after the loop body. Okay, so now this is there. Sad. Okay, okay, so this is the syntax for your for loop, that is for initialization semicolon condition semicolon repeat. Okay, so statements after that, that is where you will write your loop body. Okay, so now what if you don't have multiple statements? You can just write one line code. This loop body doesn't always require you to write those braces. The reason why for any person who is starting new, we advise them to write brackets is because it is easier to debug. Okay, but there is no rule saying that these brackets have to be returned if at all only one instruction is supposedly to be repeated. Okay, so that is the idea for your loop. I hope this is clear. If anybody has other doubts, please leave a message, or else we will continue. As of now, I'm not getting any questions from your end, comments from your end. So I believe that you have understood this. If at all you are not understood this, please leave a comment. Okay, so but I'll continue. Okay, so I'm not pausing anymore. Okay, so now while, do while, and for. So first let us just take an example. Okay, so int I is equal to 0. Okay, I is equal to 0, and while I is less than 10, okay, while I is less than 10, I'm gonna say hello world only, or hello PS, and then I am going to increment the value of I. The reason for that is very simple. If I don't increment this, I value will remain 0. So the loop will keep on repeating. So there will be no stopping of the loop. So it will be non-stop going on and on and on and on. So since I want to stop at a certain point, I'll have to see to that the value of the I value has to change. So that is why I'm changing it in the direction I want. Okay. So next comes here, and this is your typical syntax. Okay. So now let us run this. Now please observe. Okay. So it is actually printing 10 times. Why? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 9. Okay. Since it is printing even for 0, it is 10 times. Okay. Now let us go for some simple things wherein you might have made a mistake. What if we put a semicolon here? Okay. I told you it will not cause a syntax error, but it will cause a logical error. Okay. Because the logic is failing, because we are saying something else. We are telling the computer to do something else, or we are expecting the computer to do something else, and but we are telling the computer to do something else. So let us see what will happen. Observe. What is happening? You are able to see nothing. Why are you not able to see anything? Because the loop is still going on. What is there in the loop? I is less than 10. I value starting at 0. So since there is nothing to change the value of I, the loop is going on non-stop. Okay, the loop is going on non-stop. So you are not able to see any result at all. Okay, so that is what is happening with respect to your while. Okay, so now let us change this to do while. Okay, now let us run this. Let us count how many times it is done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times only. So this is also printing 10 times only, but the difference will be seen only if the condition is initially false. So if this is 10 already, okay, if this is 10 already, here you are still going to get hello PS printed once. But if it was normal while loop, okay, so observe, you are not going to get anything printed. So means to say it will not at all enter your loop body. So that is the difference. That is the difference between your while and do while. Okay. One second. I hate it when this happens. So let me just have to manually do it. Okay, do and while. Okay, so that is the difference between while and do while. Okay, so now question is, what if I put semicolon after do? Here you are definitely going to get an error. Why? because every do will expect a while at the end. Since that while is not there, it is going to cause an error. See here, expected a while before token, so it is getting confused. Okay, it is getting confused. So here you are going to get a syntax error itself, if at all you are going to write a semicolon after this. But what if I remove, again let us just check once. Yeah, okay, see, no error, right? Now what if I don't write a semicolon after this while? What will happen? Again you are going to get a syntax error itself, that is expected a semicolon before return. So it is getting confused. Is this the end of do while loop? Are you writing one more loop? It is getting confused. Okay, so that is why you are going to get a syntax error here. Okay, so this semicolon is a must, you cannot avoid it. Clear? Okay, let us go ahead with the next one, the last of the loop, which is your for. For initialization, even though earlier I had given as 10, I don't want to start with 10. I want to see to that I start with 0 itself, because that is my starting point. And for your condition, it is I less than 10 itself, because I am printing it 10 times, and I am going to, rather than writing the I plus plus in the body, loop body, I can write it here itself. So I don't need this. So this is what happens to my code. Now observe, you can check, it is printing 10 times itself, no problems. Okay, yeah, right. Okay, all right, so we'll continue. Sorry about the pause, I was checking whether there was some issue with some of the people were not able to get the links, so that's why I was just worried. Okay, let us get back to print. Okay, so here it is printing 10 times itself, it is working, and even though initially we had some problems, it is got fixed because we have a initialization here itself. Okay, so these are some of the advantages, and also you can actually skip writing these braces. Why? Because only single instruction is there. Okay, since there is only single instruction here which has to be repeated, we can directly write it like this as well. That said, this is the normal things. Okay, so this is typically how things work. Now we'll talk about extra features. Okay, so that is some things which is not commonly used, that is we can actually write your printf within your repeat part and separate it by a comma. Okay, So the reason why I'm separating it with a space is so that you can see, you can differentiate better. That's all. There is no rules that I have to give a space. Okay, now here in your updation part, I should usually I am supposed to only give values or something like that. Why am I able to write function calls? So if I am able to write function calls, can I write if else? Can I write one more loop there? So such questions might arise. So for that, answer is very simple. You can write any kind of a statement which will result in actual value being generated. So whenever we use printf, okay, so whenever we use printf, the printf is actually what? It's a function, right? It's a output function. So whatever it prints, it will return the number of characters which it has successfully printed. Here how many characters are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 characters. Why? Backslash n is not two different characters, it is one single character. Okay, so 10 characters are being printed. Clear? So now that is about it. So since it is actually returning a value, only thing is we are not actually catching the value. Whatever value it is returning, we are just letting it leave. For example, let us say that you are a football goalkeeper. Okay, so the reason why I am saying football is because it is very suitable. Okay, so in a football goalkeeper, you are not going to touch the ball unless it is coming onto the goal, right? So if it is going outside, you will probably rather leave it. Why? If you touch and somehow it bounces back, or if you are unable to catch, then it might give opportunity for the other team to come and score the goal, right? So that is why what we will do is we will not touch anything which is going beyond the goal post. So same thing is happening here. Okay, so it is just not being received, it is being left out. Okay, that is all happening. It's happening here with respect to your printf, the return value of printf. Okay, now that is with the for loop, and this style of writing for loop in one single line is called as single line for loop. Okay, so single line for loop is used in this manner. Clear with this? Shall we go for some more? Right, let us see, where do I have so loops, yes. So let us start with the simple ones. Okay, we'll start with multiplication table itself. Okay, we'll start with multiplication table, simple one, right? Multiplication tables, it's there. Give me a minute, let me just switch on my laptop charger. Okay, now I need to print the multiplication table, means I need to store the value of the number. So n is my number and I is the multiple. Okay, so now whose tables have to be printed, and here it is percentage d comma ampersand n. That's it. Okay, so we have got our table. No, we have taken the input, right? So now multiplication starts from 1, so it ends at 11, not 10 but 11. Okay, since I already have a printf here, I'm going to make use of that. Okay, so percentage d into percentage d is equal to percentage d, and here first one is the number, second one is the multiple, and third one is multiple into the number. Okay, so I've got everything that is done. I hope this is clear. So this n will be printed here, this I will be printed here, and this percentage d will print n star I, that is your multiplication. Okay, and then I have a I plus plus here. So single line for loop, first I am just showing with single line for loop since I already have it. Okay, so single line for loop, let us try and run this. Okay, so let us say of 17. Okay, tables of 17. So let us observe here, ones are up to 10, it is correct. Okay, you guys can even check out the values if at all you are doubtful. Any maths experts, if you are among yourself, can check it. Okay, so that said, you might ask the question, how will this work? First, it will come to your initialization, it will set the value of I to 1. Next, it will come to your condition part, it will check the condition. If the condition is true, only then it will go further, or else it will stop there. Okay, and then it will go to the loop body, which is empty. Since I have written a semicolon here, there is nothing in the loop body. Since it is empty, what will happen? It will directly come to its repeat part. Repeat part is these two instructions. Okay, so first it will execute this instruction, next it will execute this instruction. Okay, so this is the loop, for loop, single line for loop, your tables. Okay, so now hope this is clear. Okay, so I've got no questions. Okay, so if I get any questions, I'll ask. Okay, I'll see to that no, not me. What am I saying? If at all you get any question, please ask me. Okay, so that is that, and let's continue. So let us go for this in a typical way, typically how you would have written. Okay, so not a single line for loop, you probably have written something along the lines of this. Rather than writing like this extra, so much extra, I have written it in single line. Okay, so this is the simple way. Again, but there is a difference in execution. What will happen? It will come here to initialization, then condition. If the condition is true, then only it will enter the loop body. Okay, once it has executed the loop body, then it will come to the repeat part, and then again condition, loop body, repeat, condition, loop body, repeat, until the condition remains true. When the condition becomes false, it goes out, it goes outside to the next instruction. Clear? Hope this is clear. Okay, clear, okay, fine, no problem, good. Okay, now if we were supposed to write this in while, how we would have to write it? Again, this whole instruction we can't directly use here, so we would have to write an extra over here. Okay, and your I plus plus cannot be written here, so you will have to write it one second, there is a problem with the shortcuts, forgive me. Even number pattern multiplication, yeah. Even number, okay, if I put a condition I is less than 10 in place of I is less than 11, so it will get yes. Pushkar, you are right, it will only execute 9 times because I am starting from 1 and I am stopping the execution when I value becomes 10. So I am not considering that. So as soon as it becomes 10, it will stop. We are not going to continue after 10. So that is why originally I had written less than 11. Okay, so if at all you want to write the same thing and you want to use 10 itself and not 11, then you will have to write I is less than or equal to 10. Okay, so means you want to even print when it is equal to 10 as well. Okay, and suppose we need even number pattern multiplication. Okay, so even numbers, let me print. Okay, so I'm just demonstrating this same thing in different loops. Once I'm done with that, I'll show you even numbers and patterns. Okay, so I plus plus we would have written here, and this will be your while. Okay, so observe here, I is equal to 1 is set here. Manually you will have to write. Okay, if at all you have a for loop and you are trying to convert the for loop code into while loop, then you have to see to that you write the initialization before your while. Okay, and whatever is there in the repeat part, that has to be written within the loop body itself. Okay, so that is what you will have to write, and let us run this. Say 12, you can see here it is proper 12, 24, 36, 48, 60, 72 up to 120, it is working fine. Okay, so this is your while. Again, if at all you want to do the same thing with do while, all you have to do is cut this, paste it here, put a semicolon at the end of this, and then write a do here. That's all you will have to do. You have to write a do here and then cut this whole while and paste it here and put a semicolon at the end. So that is the syntax for while, do while and for. Now list of even numbers. Okay, so let us say that fine, then we'll do even numbers only. So you want to print only even numbers, so even numbers between two numbers, right? So let those two numbers be n1 and n2. Okay, so to print even numbers between two numbers. Okay, so to print all the even numbers between two numbers, so n1 and n2 are my limit, so enter the number, enter the range. Minimum and maximum. Okay, so now I'm not taking input of one but two variables, so two formats and respectively two addresses, n1 and n2. Please observe here, many of you might make mistakes like this. You are not supposed to write a comma or a space, anything over here. If at all you write it, your program will behave very differently. So in many of your people who are in my sessions have already observed this. So if at all you write a space or something like that in between, your program is going to behave very differently. Okay, so now let us go for this. Now I want to start from first number, right? So first number and I is less than or equal to okay. So minimum and maximum, I have not taken just empty range, but I have taken minimum and maximum. Since I am using the words minimum and maximum, I am setting it as equal. If I was writing only range, outer range, that is in between, specifically only in between, then I don't need to consider n1 or n2. I should stop at both the places. But since I am writing minimum and maximum, I am writing this. Okay. Now percentage %d to print the number and \n for next line. Okay, so the number I am printing will be I. Okay, and now I am going to write a condition. Okay, if I mod 2, what is the difference between I divided by 2 and I mod 2? If I use division, I will get quotient. Okay, so if I get quotient, will I be able to know whether it divides it or not? No, right? So I need to find the remainder to understand. Only if the remainder is 0, I know that it can be divided by 0, or else it is not possible. So that is why I am writing I mod 2 and checking whether it is equal to 0. If it is equal to 0 means what? It is the current number is even number. So I am going to print it, or else nothing. Okay, so I am going to print it only if it is a even number, but I have to increment. Why? Because I can't keep working on the same number, right? So if it is odd number, I should not stay on that odd number itself. I should change the value and move further. That's why your I++ is not written within your if but outside your if. Clear? I hope it is clear now. Okay, so now let us just run this. Even numbers, so minus 999 and 20. Okay, minus 999 and 20 is the range. You can actually see here. So from minus 999 it is printing all the even numbers, 680, so 998, 996, 4. So it is printing all the even numbers until your 20. So 20 is also being printed. So it is displaying all the even numbers. Okay, clear with this? So this was using while. Okay, so now let us change this. If at all I want to make it as for. Again, as far as do while, I hope you people are already aware of it. All I have to do is okay. Right click here does not work. Okay. Okay, so as far as do while is concerned, all I have to do is this. Okay, nothing is changed. So that is why I am not giving too much of importance for while and do while, but I will be focusing more on for, because for is in for syntax is a little bit different. Okay. So let us now go for. So for the initialization part, I don't need to write it outside, right? I can automatically write it here itself. My initialization is done. Okay, I don't need to write the spaces. Space is not mandatory. I'm writing the space only for your understanding. Okay, it is better, you can look at it better, that's all. Okay, next, your condition part. Your condition part, we'll write it here, and then your repeat part. So this repeat part, I'm writing here, but no semicolon. Okay, so this is using normal for loop to print all the even numbers in between. Okay, so let us run again, check 12 to 35. So in between 12 and 35, print all the even numbers. So 12, 14, 16 up to 34. You can clearly see that it is printing all the even numbers in between. This is 1. Again, for the same thing, you could actually write even this one itself in a even simpler fashion. Okay, so what you can do is I, you are setting the I to n plus 1, right? So rather than writing there itself, you can actually write some, like you can actually skip this if. Okay, you can actually skip this if. How we can do that is, while initializing, if n1 mod 2 equal to 0, then we set n1, or else we set it with n1 plus 1, that is the next number. So any number next to an odd number is even number, right? We know. So same idea. And what we are going to do is, rather than incrementing it by 1, we are going to increase it by I plus equal to 2. So, I do not need to keep checking this condition altogether. So, I can totally remove your if using this one thing. Again, how you are going to optimize the logic and everything will depend on your understanding of the logic. So, the better you understand the program, the more you can actually manipulate it to the most extreme, that is optimize it to the extreme. Okay. So, you can even do like this as well. Clear with this? Pattern multiplication, I'm not clear exactly what you mean by pattern multiplication. If you can expand on it, I can actually answer the question. So, the multiplication pattern related things. Okay, I'll be putting the attendance link in the thing chat. It's actually brush up, Faisal. PES brush up part. Okay. Yeah. Attendance link is in the this thing. The comment has been pinned. Okay. So you can use that. So I'll give you some 5 minutes so that you can actually mark your attendance. Okay. So we'll start again by 4:05. So please see to that you are able to mark your attendance by 4:05. All right, shall we resume? Okay, now I hope right, shall we? uh, I'm checking the comments. Guys, please respond if you are done with the attendance. Mm, 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 mm. Guys, please respond. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Uh, Hello. I'm not getting any responses. Okay, fine. I'm assuming that you guys are done with the attendance for this session. Okay, now let us continue. Okay, and so one of your question was how to do pattern. Okay, so we can start with some pattern programs as well. Okay, cool. So we'll start with some pattern programs, as in before we go for pattern, I want to actually we'll do some so we'll do some simple program just to verify if everybody is on the same page, able to understand. Okay, so write a program to compute the first n Fibonacci numbers. So it is saying compute, but it means that you are supposed to display them. Okay, so compute doesn't mean that just you have to calculate and keep it. You are supposed to actually display them. That is what it is expecting. So Fibonacci, again, you already know, I believe it is first plus second, first number plus second number is the third number. So it goes on like that. Okay, so basically f of n plus f of n is equal to f of n minus 1 plus n minus 2. Okay, so that is the actual formula for repeating the things. So now I need to start with this. So do I need, yeah, since I have to print first n numbers, I'll take I itself, and I'll take the n as the value, and f1, f2 and f3. Let me take f1, f2 and f3 as the two numbers. Now I have to take the simple number, right? Enter the number. So please observe here, in this question it says first n, not up to n. So even if the number which we are displaying, the Fibonacci number we are displaying is beyond the actual limit number, we are still supposed to keep on going. Okay, so basically that is like what I'm saying is, we have to print the first n numbers, not up to n. So for up to n you will have to write a different code, and for first n you will have to write a little bit different code. The logic is the same, but the implementation part you will have to change a little bit. Okay, so now let us get back to this. I is equal to 0 to that. Okay, so that is there, and next I write a comma, then f1 is equal to 0, f2 is equal to 1. Okay, so f1 and f2 is set. Oh, that should happen before itself. We don't need to write it here because that has to happen before. Okay, so semicolon, semicolon. Okay, so f1 and f2 is set, so we'll print Fibonacci series. Okay, so I'll say percentage d and a space, percentage d. Let me just write a comma so that you will be able to better distinguish between it. Okay, so this is the way I'm printing. First one I already know, f1, next is f2. Okay, so these two numbers I have started printing. Then I is less than n, that is my condition. I is less than n and I is incremented by 1 itself. So what I'm going to do here, I have to do the things. So f3 is equal to f1 plus f2. Okay, and then I print the number, and a space. So the number is f3. Okay, and after that what I have to do, I have to exchange. Okay, since I want to find out f4, I cannot create extra variables here, so I'm going to reuse it. That is, I'm going to set your f1 is equal to f2 and your f2 is equal to f3. So thereby we can keep on doing the things. Okay, so exchange is done and we print again. So this is to print the first n Fibonacci numbers. Okay, so that is there, right? Okay, let us run this. So I'll use first 16, okay, to print first 16 Fibonacci numbers. 0, 1, again 1, because 0 plus 1 is 1 only. So 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 plus 1 is 3, 3 plus 2 is 5, 8, and it goes on. Okay, so this is printing the Fibonacci series. Okay, so hope it is clear now. One second, sir. Mean like 2 into 2, 4. 2 into 4 is equal to 8. Okay, so you wanted to print only even numbers. Okay, in the table. Let me just write the code for that as well. Okay, so now let us get in. I hope Fibonacci series is clear. Fibonacci series, anybody has any issues? Because I can't save this. I can't go for undo here. Control Z does not work in this way. So that is why I don't want to start the code and I will have to reuse the code in here. It's printing 18 numbers, is it? Oh yeah, it is printing 18 numbers because I'm starting from 0. My bad. I should start from 3, right? So now it will be printing only 16. So we'll have to start the counting from 3 because first 1 and 2 is already printed, right? So 16, if I give, it is going to print only 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah. Yeah, I got it. So it was printing extra because I started the I is equal to 0, right? So I should have started, since I have already printed 1 and 2. So half of my thing I was trying to reuse the code previously, so that's why I just kept it as 0 itself. Okay, so now f1 and f2 it is going to be hard. Reason is very simple, because f1 and f2 is set, right? We are not exchanging. So if we exchange, it is going to get hard for printing 0 and 1, or else every time you are going to print something, it will print 0 and 1, 0 and 1, right? So first two numbers is already set, right? So that's why I'm printing it outside the loop. That is what I'm like. I hope it is clear, Mohammed. Okay, so we can't write your f1 to be printed because obviously it is going to like the value should change, right? So since the value is already set, that is why we'll not be able to do anything with it. So I was actually trying to do something like that originally. That is why I wrote with 0. Then I remembered we can't. Okay, so that is why we have to start with 3. Hope it is clear now. Please respond if you have heard me so that I can go forward. Uh, mm, no, like you. Yes, we can do this, but I have to print 1 and 2, right? So every time I don't need to print three numbers. I have to print only one number at a time. That is what is the logic. The logic which we have written, it is going to generate one number at a time. So if we always print three numbers, it is going to get complicated, na? For example, let us say, like you are saying, what if I print F1 and F2 as well? See here what will happen. Comma space percentage D, comma space. So F1, F2, F3, see what will happen. So let us just write, say, 5. See, it is printing 0 1 0 1 0. Even if I remove this, okay, let us remove this first part so that it is not going to interfere. So 5, 0 1 1 1 1 2 1 1 2 1 thing. So basically it is printing too many. Okay, so we should print only F1. Okay, fine, let me try that. Print only F1, is it? See what will happen. Print only F1, change this to 0. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're getting 6. Okay, it's because of this. Okay. One, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yeah, we can even do this as well. Fine, fine. You can even actually do this as well. It looks fine. As long as we are doing exactly like this, it is fine. But if you are not, it might get complicated. So that is why. But okay, this is fine. This looks fine. We can actually write this. 1 2 5 8. Okay. What is it printing? 0 0 1 1. 0 1 1 is proper, na? Wait, let us see. Check. Yeah, 0 1 1 2 2 and 3 and 5. It is proper. Okay. So now let us continue. Even you can use this again. This is like how you are going to write the logic depends on your choice. As long as the logic is giving the proper answer, then it's fine. Okay, even this should be good enough. Okay, so let us continue with the next one, which he had asked, the tables one. Tables with only 2, right? So 2 4 6, how to write that? So we'll start with that. Number, this thing, remove this, we don't need this. Number is done, we don't need this altogether. Then rather than starting with 1, I'm starting with 2, less than or equal to 10, and rather than writing I plus equal to 2. Okay, so this will become percentage D into percentage D equal to percentage D, which is n I and n into I. Okay, so now it will only print the even. Okay, so let us say we want 15. Okay, one second, let me fix this backslash n. It will be why is there space? Okay, now it will be proper. So here you can clearly see 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay, so it is only printing 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. If at all you want to limit it to certain other number than 10, then you will have to take one more variable and set that as the limit. That's all. Clear now? So patterns. We'll get to the patterns. Where are they? Let me look at the pattern programs. One second. Yeah, program list is here. So we can start with simple ones like this, and we can go for more complicated ones. Okay, so if at all you don't want the simple ones, you are already aware of it, then we can directly get into complicated ones. If at all you have any in your mind, you can share that. I'll cover that itself. Okay, the point of this is to refresh the things. That is why I'm not going to I'm not forced to actually do the basics only. Okay, I can do even advanced ones, provided you give me a green signal. Okay, so I have to generate this pattern. So I need, look at the pattern. Pattern is both horizontal as well as vertical, right? So in order to maintain the limit of horizontal and limit of vertical limit, we'll have to have two numbers. Okay, so I and j. I and I'm using j. So these are the two numbers I'm using it for the vertical limit, horizontal and vertical limits. Enter the size of pattern. So I've got this. I'll start with this. I is equal to 0, I less than n, and I plus plus. Okay, so why exactly is it I is equal to 0? Because since I'm just counting the number of rows, okay, since I'm counting the number of rows here, I don't need to worry about 1 or 2, 3, right? So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, that is, it is less than 5. So if the number is 5, then it is less than n. So I'm starting from 0. I don't need to worry about it. Okay, next what I have to do, I have to directly print no, right? I have to worry about the, in each row there should be n number of columns starting from 1. Here it is starting from 1, so that is why I'll choose for j is equal to 1, j less than or equal to, okay, j less than or equal to n, and j plus plus, and then I'll print j. So I don't need all these, I want it removed, I'm removing this. See, in between numbers there is a space, right? Since there is a space, I'm writing this space, okay. Now after it has printed the columns, all the columns are printed, what I have to do, I have to go to the next line, right? So since I have to go to the next line, after printing all the columns, I'm going to write printf \n, okay. So this will make it go to the next line. After this it comes to the next line, after this it comes to the next line, after this it comes to the next line, okay. So that is why this line, and let us run this code. For now we'll write size as 5. You can see here it is printing 5 only. But advantages of using n and writing the code is that I can actually rerun this code and give 9. It is able to generate even for 9. You can count, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 times it is printing, okay. Clear with this? Nested loop, again, if at all you want to understand your nested loop, pattern programs are the best for doing that. So these are the simple ones, simple patterns. If anybody is unclear about it, I can explain again. Anybody is unclear? Okay, so how to do this? Now observe this pattern. What is happening? It is stopping at 5, next 4, next 3, next 2, next 1. That is, first time it is n, next it is n minus 1, next it is n minus 2, next n minus 3, next n minus 4. So basically it is based on the number of row. So in the first row it is 0, second row it is 1, third row it is 2, 3, 4, like that. So that is very easily available in our I. Why? Because our I is already having starting from 0, it is not starting from 1. So we already have that easily. So what I am going to do is j less than or equal to n, rather than writing just n, I say n minus I. All I have to do is this, just change this one condition, that is at which point we are going to stop the printing of columns, okay. So now observe 5, we are getting 1 2 3 4 5, 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 1 2 and 1, okay. So just by changing just one extra part, that is minus I in the upper limit, we have gotten altogether different pattern. Clear with this? Guys, if you don't respond back, I can keep going. For me, writing, okay. So, yeah, I think the connection should be back now. Okay, I'm sorry for the lag. There was a sudden lag spike in my end. That's why there might have been a little bit of a pause. Okay, so if at all you did not get anything clear, then sorry from my end. It is some lag spike. Okay, so suddenly there was a little bit of downtime, network downtime. Now we'll continue with it. So now let us run this again, but this time with different value, say 8. So 1 to 8, 1 to 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is clear. Done. Now, very similarly, let us say that we want to change it like this, the reverse of this pattern, that is 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, how should I do this? Again, please observe, starting point remains the same. Compare with the previous pattern and this pattern, the starting point remains the same, that is, it is 1 itself. Only thing is, ending point is changing, right? So ending point was what? It was n minus I, that is, it used to go up till n and reduce it by each time, that is, each row we will have to reduce it by 1. Now what we have to do is, each time we will have to increase it by 1. So basically what I can do is, I can directly say it is less than or equal to I plus 1. Why I plus 1 and not I? Because I value starting from 0, not 1. If I value is also 1, then we could have just written j is less than or equal to I. Since we are using I equal to 0 over there, I am writing it as I plus 1. So after changing this, please observe, same thing but different pattern. So you have to be very clear about this. So whenever it comes to patterns, you have to see the starting point and the ending point. So we call it as your lower limit and upper limit. So once your lower limit and upper limit is set and clear, no problems, then it is easy. Okay, clear with this one? Hello, hello. This is one problem with YouTube training. I'll have to wait a lot of time to know whether you are clear or not. Okay, yeah, clear. Fine, then we'll move ahead. Now what if we put a mirror of this pattern? Okay, so mirror of this pattern in the sense, not this one, previous pattern. Okay, so basically you'll understand once I write it. Okay, now how to do this? Observe here, compared to the previous one, there is a little bit of difference in this pattern. What is the difference? Here we are writing an empty space. Okay, there we were just stopping there. Why? Because automatically we used to go to the next line. After the space, we could easily go to the next line. So we could have stopped there. But here we cannot stop that. Why? We have to print all those things, then only come to the next line. So space, this one, all these spaces are also part of the pattern. Okay, so space is also part of the pattern. That is what you will have to consider. Now let us look at the lower limit. Lower limit is what? N. Upper limit is what? 1. So lower limit, that is, it starts with n and it stops at it's greater than 0. And since we are starting from n, we cannot use j plus plus. Why? We have to reduce, right? So that's why it becomes minus minus. Okay, so that is about the starting point and ending point. So loop starting point, ending point is done. Now the question comes is when to print space and when to print just your number. Okay, so for that it's very simple. We'll have to write if else. Okay, now when are we printing the number? That is when it is n minus I is the limit. So here n is the limit. Next n plus 1, I'm sorry, n minus 1, n minus 2, n minus 3, n minus 4, right? So what we are going to write is if j is less than or equal to n minus I, we are going to print the number, or else what we print? Or else we print rather than the number, we print one extra space. Please observe here, I am printing two spaces. Why? One for the space in between two numbers and another one for the empty space. Okay, so that is done, and now let us run this. Okay, so size of the pattern, let us say as 5 only. So you can clearly see here 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1 and 1. But observe here, these space are also part of the pattern when it comes to these kind of things. Previously, whenever it is going like that, that side was the limit, it was easier. right? But here we have empty spaces in the beginning of the row, so we cannot stop the program, but we'll have to write the condition for printing the things. Okay, so now let us go for one more of the same kind. Okay, how to print this part? Okay, pattern like this. Now again observe here, even though it might look like we are starting at 1, then 2, then 3, we are not starting at that point. Our pattern is from here only, so it is starting point is still n itself, so we'll keep it as it is, n only. Okay, and next where is it? Ending point is 1, so this point also remains the same. We are going in decrement only, since we are going from 5 4 3 to 1, so it is minus minus itself. So what we have to change is this part, that is when we are supposed to print space and when we are supposed to print your number. Okay, so since it is the reverse of this, what we are going to do is, whenever j is less than or equal to I plus 1, okay, whenever j value is less than or equal to I plus 1, we are going to print the number, or else we will print a empty space. Okay, so let us run this again, give it 5, it is printing, right? So observe, previously when we were doing the first part of the programs, all we had to change was your upper limit and lower limit and everything, but now we are changing the condition here. Whenever you want space in the beginning, so this logic will remain same, that is you will have to write when to print space and when to print your number, but only thing is the limit or when you are going to print what will be changed, that's all. Clear with this? Is this clear? Hello, hello. Guys, if this is clear, then we'll take a break. Okay, then we'll take a break from 5 to 5:30, and we'll resume again back in 5:30. I'll be posting the links for the next session in the group itself. Okay, or your coordinators will share them. Okay, so let us join back in again at 5:30.